Hello my viewers, my name is Ndalkacho. So in this tutorial video we will see how to select a strong thesis title for Bachelor and Masters degree students. So in this tutorial video we will see three important things. The first one is we will see the techniques to select a thesis title. The second one is we will see things that we need to avoid while selecting a thesis title, and finally we will have a sample thesis title. So for sure, if you watch this video, you will have a clear understanding for selecting a best thesis title. So let's start this tutorial. The first thing we need to consider while selecting a thesis title is we need to identify a problem in a general way, which means we need to search different problems from our community, or it can be from our university, or even it can be from any organizations. So we should search a problem in a broader way so that finally you will narrow it and you will form a strong thesis title. So while conducting any research, we need to remember these things. First, there must be a problem. To make a research, you should have a strong problem. Then, to find a solution for this problem, we should follow a scientific procedure. This scientific procedure is called a research. So after conducting a research, we expect recommendations, or it can be a solution from the previous problem. So there is a linear relationship between problem, research, and finally a solution. The second technique we need to consider is we should follow our interest. If we don't have any interest regarding our topic, we may not be effective, because by nature, any research requires strong commitment and strong effort. So you should consider this before selecting a thesis title. The third one is we need to review literatures, and we should make a brainstorming activity. The main importance of reviewing literature is to find a research gap. We should make at least 5 to 6 reviews before selecting a title. So after reviewing literatures, if there is a gap that is not covered by other researchers, then we can make a research, and this gap is called research gap. So it is very important to make a research gap. Usually the research gap is stated in the statement of the problem. We will see how to state a research gap in a statement of a problem. The other thing is we should generate uniqueness by synthesizing ideas or concepts from previous papers. After reviewing different literatures and having a brainstorming activity, while we say brainstorming activity, which means a discussion with groups. So the group team may contain your friends, or it may include your advisor, even experts in that area, so that you will have a clear understanding about the problem. So you can clearly state your research gap, and you will have a strong findings. The other thing is we should make a preliminary study. When you say preliminary study, first we should identify the study area. So you should go to your study area and you should make some preliminary assessment. The assessment may contain to check the available resources. For instance, you should have data to analyze. Otherwise, you should change your topic. So preliminary study is very important, especially to decide your method of research or methodology, the data collection, the target population, the sample size, and the like. It is very important for having this preliminary data. So after making a preliminary study, you should even consider methodological improvements to existing work, which means you should not follow the same methodology with previous researches. So it is better to follow a new methodology. For instance, the previous researchers may follow quantitative method of data to solve this problem, but you may add a qualitative or experimentation and the like. If you add a different methodology, definitely your research will be unique. So you will have a strong conclusion. The other thing we should consider is the resource available in your center or in your study area. Resource is very important for any research, because research may need an input data, and then you will analyze this data and finally you will make a conclusion. So without any sufficient data or resource, your research may not be effective. So you should consider this one. First you should check. And finally, after doing all these things, we should refine the topic as you go further. Now you have a clear understanding about your statement of the problem. You have checked the different researches and you have identified a research gap. So by now you have sufficient information. So you should make your topic narrow to make a title. There is a big difference between thesis topic and thesis title. When you say thesis topic, it is simply a broad idea or simply the subject matter of our problem. But when you say a title, it is simply a well-organized statement or sentence about our thesis. So this is the final output of the topic. Therefore, our thesis topic must be feasible, should be relevant, and finally achievable. And the result should also reflect an advancement over the previous work. It is obvious, which means you should add something new, or it must be innovative. And you should provide ideas for further research along the same line. Look, this is very important. Your recommendation must be strong enough. Even it should be like a thesis title for other researchers. Yeah? For instance, you may say that in this research, I only use qualitative method of research. So other researchers may do the same thing by considering quantitative data collection. Or you may say, in this study, I consider only this one. So it is better if other researchers conduct a research by considering this. So in this way, you will recommend the other researchers to make a research or to conduct a research. And the title must be short and simple. And also the title should clearly describe about the basic objective or the general objective. Most of the time we generate objective of our title from the title itself, yeah, and that is better or advisable. So now let's see the things that we need to avoid while conducting a thesis title. So the first thing we need to avoid is the subject which is overdone, which means titles which are repeatedly conducted by other researchers should be avoided, because it is very difficult to make a new conclusion. The second one is we need to avoid controversial subjects. If you have a controversial subject, it is very difficult to pursue your advisor, even your examiners. So you will have a weak conclusion. And the third thing we need to avoid is too narrow or too vague problems. If you have too narrow problem, it is very difficult to make a new conclusion, which means your thesis will be very weak. If you have too vague or broad problem, you will be challenged to make a conclusion, to arrive at a conclusion, because you will have so many objectives, or you'll have so many questions, and at the end of the thesis you should answer all these questions. So you may not have enough time to conclude. Even you may be unable to make a conclusion if you have too broad problems. So avoid these three things. The other thing I want to show you is that you can prepare a checklist to select the best topic from different alternatives. For instance, you may have 3 topics that can be researchable. So to select the best topic, you may have a checklist, and you should answer these questions by yourself. For instance, regarding feasibility, you may ask yourself, can I do this in the time available? So the answer may be, it depends. For instance, for the first topic, it may require experimentation. If it requires experimentation, you may not have sufficient time, so you will give 1+. But the second topic may require simply quantitative method, which means it may require questionnaires. So questionnaire may not take like experimentation. So you will give, yes, I will complete within the specified time. For topic 3, it may be 50-50. So in this way you will answer all these questions and you will give a score. So finally the total score, for instance, for topic 2 is 21. So the best topic based on your checklist is topic 2. So in this way you can practice how to select your best topic. Now let's see an example that shows how to narrow a broad thesis topic into a strong thesis title. The thesis topic is investigating the factors that affect students' grade. Here, why I say thesis topic is because it is very broad. As you can see, it simply says investigating the factors that affect students' grade. We don't know about the study area. Even we don't know about the target population. So for a best thesis title, it should give information about the study area and also the target population. So it should be very narrow, but in this case it is very broad. So let's make it narrow, and finally let's make it in thesis title form. The first thing we should ask is about the variables. For any research, we have seen that, or we have said that there must be a problem. So what is the problem here? The problem is a student's grade vary significantly. This is a dependent variable. When you say a dependent variable, this is a variable that can be changed due to some factors. So for the student's grade variation, there must be some factors behind, and these factors are called independent variables. So there is a relationship. So in this research we need to find the relationship between this independent variable and dependent variable. So let's ask the question. The first question should be, where is the study area? Is it all over the world? Investigating the factors that affect students' grade in all over the world? No, it can be impossible for a thesis. So let's narrow it. Investigating the factors that affect students' grade in developing countries. Is it possible? No, again, it is very broad because there are so many developing countries. So let's select among the developing countries, let's select Ethiopia, because Ethiopia is one of the developing countries. Still it is very narrow because in Ethiopia around 30 million students are available. So a population of 30 million is not possible for a thesis title. Still we need to make it narrow. Let's consider the capital city of Ethiopia, which is Addis Ababa. Now it may be possible. It may be possible because Addis Ababa is simply a city. So we shall conduct a research in a city, in a single city. But still, we don't know about the target population. Simply, we have students. So to select the student's grade, first we should ask in which grade we are conducting this research. Is it in KG, elementary school, high school, preparatory, college, university? Even among those, it may be public or private. So we should select a very specific grade of students. So let's select among the public universities. Let's select a university which is found in Addis Ababa. So our final thesis title will be investigating the factors that affect students' grade in Addis Ababa University. Now, it is very specific and it can be researchable. In this case, our target population is Addis Ababa University students, and the study area is in Addis Ababa. The problem is there is variation of grade of students in Addis Ababa University, and the independent variable is that are the factors. So these factors must be identified at the end of our research. So as you can see here, it is very strong thesis title. So in this way you can have a strong thesis title, but don't forget that this title will be modified as your research progresses. Based on maybe your advisor's comment, you can modify, yeah? So let's see the summary. To make a thesis title selection, first we need to identify a problem in your study area. Then you should search literatures regarding the problem, and we need to identify the gaps by comparing your problem with the previous researches. And we need to discuss with your friends, experts, and advisors, which is called brainstorming activity, so that you will make a preliminary study and finally you can select your thesis title.